What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Schuyler Callihan here on Between the Ears. And we've got a little bit of a coaching search going on in Morgantown as Wren Baker looks to find the next men's head basketball coach at West Virginia University. And a lot of names being thrown out there. We're going to follow this thing every step of the way. We're going to give our analysis every step of the way. We're going to talk about some guys that maybe haven't been really mentioned or linked with that West Virginia job over the coming days and weeks. So we'll get into some of that. But first, I do want to talk about some of these guys that have been strongly tied to West Virginia. And today we're going to start with Dusty May. Intriguing coach, Florida Atlantic, if you're unfamiliar with his work. He's been the head coach there since 2018. Has never had a losing season. However, they have not made the NCAA tournament until these past 2 years. Last year, obviously, the incredible run where they go 35-4. They win the regular season conference tournament, or excuse me, the regular season conference championship. They win the conference tournament championship, and then they go on their magical run. That was all done in Conference USA. This year, they make the switch to the American Athletic Conference. They go 25-8, and they lost in I believe it was the semifinal round to Temple. Take that for what you will. My thoughts on Dusty May is simply this. Very, very good coach that I think could excel at a bigger program with a bigger NIL pool, better facilities. And I think that's really the case for a lot of these guys, and probably all of these guys that we're going to be talking about for this job at West Virginia. But with Dusty, I think the Final Four run last year has him a little bit overrated. And I'm not saying this as a slight at all. I do think he's a good coach. But the Final Four run, I think, is what has everybody just a little bit too excited about Dusty. I have some reservations. You look at these records that he's put up, and granted, Florida Atlantic's not an easy place to win, right? I mean, this is not some tradition-rich program that's even at the mid-major level has had crazy amounts of success. I get that. But 17-16, 17-15, 13-10, that was the COVID year, 19-15, and then 35-4 and 25-8. And even within that 25-8 record this year, they've lost some games that really kind of make you scratch your head. I mean, especially this most recent one against Temple, who, if I recall, doesn't even have a winning record. And they're losing to a team like that in a conference tournament. This is March. You should be playing your best basketball. Yeah, I mean, Temple's going to come out and play their hearts out. I mean, we've seen what other teams around the country do when they know they can't get in unless they win the damn conference tournament, NC State. But come on, it's March. You need to be winning these games against teams like Temple. And there's other games throughout the schedule you look and wonder what's going on. Why did they lose 8 games this year for a team that just went to the Final Four last year and has a pretty good team this year as well? And some would probably even argue a better team than last year. I don't understand how they lose 8 games. I can't wrap my head around it. But it's further than just whether or not if Dusty May is viewed as a good coach, which I think he does check that box. Again, there are some concerns, but there's concerns with literally every single coach that is on this list that we're talking about, or this list that's up in the air that everybody just assumes is the one that Wren Baker has in his desk drawer. But it's simply that Dusty May is from Peoria, Illinois. He's an Indiana guy. Went to college at Indiana. I believe he graduated in 2000. So there's this thought or perception that Mike Woodson, the current standing coach at Indiana, is not necessarily the safest coach in America. His record over the last 3 years, not that bad, but at a place like Indiana, there's more expectations. 21 and 14, 23 and 12, 19 and 14. They've made the tournament the last 2 years. They missed out on it this year. I don't know that the Indiana job is going to pop open. And I don't think Dusty May knows that. I don't really know that anybody knows that that's going to happen, whether that's a year from now or 3 years from now. And I think the biggest concern for West Virginia fans that I've seen on social media is what happens if you're West Virginia and you're Wren Baker. In the back of your mind, you know that Dusty may want to go and coach his alma mater at some point in time. Is that something that you have to consider in this hiring process if you believe he is the best candidate for your job? And my way of thinking of it is, yes, it's got to be somewhere back there deep in the back of my head, but it's not at the front. Why? Well, because as I just stated, you don't know if that Indiana job is going to come open. You can't be concerned or afraid or overthinking because you think something might happen and it may never happen. Now, of course, at some point in time, the Indiana job is going to come open. Mike Woodson's not going to coach for eternity, but I mean, two tournament appearances in 3 years. I get higher expectations are had there, but it's not like he's completely underwhelmed. And with the era that we live in the transfer portal, things can change quickly. If the Hoosiers get back to the tournament next year and say, win a couple games, get to the Sweet 16, that job's not popping open. So if Dusty May is just kind of hiding in Boca Raton waiting for this job to pop open, I think that's bad business for him. You can't wait on a job to open that may never open within the next, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. If you're looking to make the jump, you got to make the jump. Take advantage of this opportunity because, like I said a few minutes ago, Florida Atlantic, it's not an easy place to win. It's not. And is it sustainable what he's done there the past 2 years? I really don't know. It might be, but we haven't really seen this before. So if he doesn't maximize this opportunity and parlay his success into a high major job and performance kind of comes back down to earth a little bit, they are in a tougher conference now. He might miss that opportunity. Now, people will still maybe think very highly of him because of this little 2 year run that they've had. But if I'm Dusty May, I'm not waiting. I'm not waiting for some other school to fire their coach to hire me. Not this late into the game. It's not happening this offseason. So you know it's not happening now. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. What we do know is that West Virginia job is indeed open and it has been open for a year. The AD there has had you at the top of his list since last year. So again, I think it's bad business. It's very bad business for Dusty May if he's just waiting for a job. And it's also very bad business for West Virginia if you believe he's the top guy and he is the best fit for this program and you pass on him because you're worried that if you hire him, he's going to bolt. Can't do that. West Virginia, it it creates this special place in people's hearts, right? Even if you're not from here, if you've never really had much of a, you know, background with West Virginia, once you get there, it it creates this love and passion and affection for the state and its people. It just happens. Everyone buys it. And I feel whether that's Dusty May or anybody else, once they get the job and they come here and they've been here for few months and they've settled in and they kind of really understand. And every time they go to Kroger's or they go to Tudors or wherever the heck they're going, and they see flying WVs all over the place on people's hats, shirts, shorts, cars, it's everywhere. Front yards, they'll understand it's a little bit different in West Virginia than it is other places. And that level of passion will resonate. And they'll understand how much it means to these people. And I'm not saying that all of that combined will overtake coaching at your alma mater, but it would make that decision a lot tougher. And I don't think that people get that side of it. If Dusty May were to be the head coach at West Virginia, or if he's the best fit for this job, you hire him. You don't have second guesses because he may go somewhere else a year, 2 years, 3 years from now. No. You hire the best person for the job. You can't play the hypothetical game. And it's the same thing in any business. It's not just sports. You don't hire somebody thinking this person's really qualified for the job. I think they would do a hell of a job. But I'm really concerned that, say, in 2 years, the job that person has probably really wanted all along might come open and they might go. No, get them in your building. Get them doing your job, the job that you hired them to do. And you know what? They may fall in love with it and they may not want to go. You can't have that second guess if you're Wren Baker. Again, he's not my top candidate. So I'm not vouching for them to say, go and hire him. But if he's the guy, go get your guy, Wren. Simple as that. And let's be honest, if you hire Dusty May and he's gone in 2 or 3 years or less and goes to Indiana, that means you won a bunch of basketball games, because not only has he proven it at Florida Atlantic, but Indiana's not hiring a coach if he doesn't prove it again at this level, assuming he doesn't get, he doesn't wait around and wait for that job. He's going to have success at a mid-major and a high major. It means you got the hire right. You'll dip back into the coaching carousel again if that's what plays out. And who knows? A lot of these names that maybe you're on the list now, maybe they stay put, because there's not a ton of coach openings right now. Not a ton. And if 2 years from now, Dusty May leaves for Indiana, some of these coaches that we're talking about that I've been discussing, that I say, give them a couple more years and I think they'll be ready. Well, there you go. Maybe Dustin Kearns needs a couple more years at Appalachian State to further prove himself. Maybe Nico Medved needs a couple more years at Colorado State. Maybe Amir Abdur-Rahim at USF needs a couple more years. And maybe Pat Kelsey at Charleston, or Darian DeVry at Drake. These coaches aren't going to last for a long time at their current schools, but I'm just saying, if you're worried about that happening, not all of them are going to take that next step within the next year or two. There will be some that stay put. Josh Schertz at Indiana State's another. So if Dusty May is your guy, you go and get him. Plain and simple. I'm Schuyler Callihan with Mountaineers Now. This has been another episode of Between Years. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel at Mountaineers Now. Give us a like and also a follow on X at that same handle. We'll be back tomorrow to talk more about this coaching search. Take care, everybody.